Hi everyone, welcome to the instructor video on tone and mood. The term tone is derived from spoken discourse, in which listeners pay attention to a speaker's tone of voice in order to 1. Gauge the speaker's feelings about the topic at hand, and 2. To assess the speaker's relationship to their listener. And by relationship here, we're talking about the speaker's assumptions regarding the listener's intelligence, sensitivity, and receptivity of the discussed topic, among other factors. It's probably not surprising then that tone plays a similar role in literary studies. For example, tone can help determine the attitude that a speaker expresses towards their subject matter and audience, and, just like in speech, tone is often conveyed through emotive or otherwise descriptive words. Like several of the other literary devices that we've talked about this semester, tone can be consistent throughout a text, or it can change, depending on the author's other uses of point of view, plot, among other literary devices. In conversations about tone, I also think it's helpful to see the similarities between readers and listeners, because readers are, in a sense, listening closely to the text that they're reading. When we're in verbal conversation with people, we can gauge their tone by not only listening to the pitch and the speed of their voice, but also looking at other nonverbal cues, such as body language. And assessing tone in a literary text, although you should use different tools, follows a similar process. In both instances, the listener and the reader, that is, the person who is receiving information, is paying attention to fine-tuned details in order to fully comprehend that information. And a prominent component of that comprehension process is paying attention to tone, which is essentially delivery. But hang on, before we go any further, I would like to reward those of you who are keeping up with the instructor videos in real time. So, if you're watching this video on or before June 27th, send me an email, I've posted it there, with a picture of your pet, or if you don't have any pets, a pet that you wish you had, for a bonus point on the final draft of your close reading essay. Now back to business. In the second half of this video, I'd like to unpack the relationship between tone and mood. Tone contributes to the overall mood of a story. The mood of a story refers to the feeling or feelings a writer wants their readers to experience throughout a text. And if the field of strategic communications have taught us anything, it's the fact that the way information is delivered is just as important as the information that's essentially delivered. For instance, when fiction writers draft a story, they're keeping in mind how their readers are going to feel just as much as the plot of the story. In a particular chapter or section of a story, a writer might want the reader to feel anxious so that the reader can experience what the characters are experiencing. Alternately, they might want them to feel relaxed. They might want them to feel romantic. They might want them to feel insert any range of emotion you can possibly imagine. When you're trying to identify tone and mood in a particular text, here are a few guiding questions that can help you accomplish those items. Number 1, what kinds of descriptors, images, and dialogue are being used in the passage? Number 2, how are those words supposed to make the reader feel? And number 3, how do those feelings affect the reader's experience and understanding of the text? For instance, here's a very banal example. Let's say in a passage, a writer is trying to describe a character traveling on foot. Depending on the feeling that the writer is trying to evoke through this passage, they might choose a variety of different verbs. Is the character walking? Is the character skulking? Is the character strolling? All of these verbs essentially mean the same thing, but they evoke different emotions, and they can affect the reader's experience with the text, in addition to an understanding of that character and of that scene. So the next time you're reading a piece of fiction, pay attention to the writer's word choice, and especially pay attention to what those choices are making you feel. This investigation can help you unpack the tone and mood of any piece of fiction. Thanks for watching, and that's all for now. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. Until next time.